Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm Skippy and welcome to another video. So it's been a while since my last video, apologies. I've been a little bit busy. Rather than doing RC conversions, I've actually been doing a little bit of work in the kitchen. So we've got rid of our little table and I've now created a little kitchen peninsula. Peninsula is an island that's connected to the wall apparently, and that's the posh name that we're now calling it. But there you go, there's just a picture there to show what I've been doing. But now we're moving on to the Guillow's Fokker DR1. So let's have a look in the box and see what we've got. Okay, the Guillow's Fokker DR1 triplane. As you can see here, here's the box, 20-inch wingspan. So it's going to be slightly smaller than the SE5A was. We have the standard instructions, or plan should I say. I'll cover that more in a second. Usual decals, which I don't like, I won't be using those ones, I'll be making my own. Plastic components, nice engine bit there, I'll see if I can work that into the model. The pilot, probably won't use him. The guns, I may or may not add those on, we'll see. And the cowl, obviously that's essential to make the model look decent. They've got the vinyl firewall, I'll use that to mount the motor too, gives a bit more rigidity. Bit of wire, usual strip for the stringers, and then the other bits for the wings, leading edge, trailing edges. It's nice laser cut, so all the wood will pop out nicely. Also note on here, I won't need to make the ailerons myself this time. E2 and they are going to be nice pop out, and I won't bother raising them, I'll just use them as they are. I just need to work out the best way, whether mylar will be too rigid for it or whether I need to use some material, we'll decide. But all the components are there, all the ribs for the three wings. Got the plastic wheels. Bizarrely, I only have, oh no, there you go, I wondered where they were. I do have both sets, but I will be using these wheels that are already made. Obviously, I just need to repaint them slightly. They were off the SE5. And then the red tissue. Now, I'm not going to be raking the red Baron version that you can see there. I'm going to be doing the same scheme that I did on my large 54-inch. That is this one, which is Lieutenant Joseph Jacobs. I like it black. It's got a nice bit of decal there. It's just a little bit different. So the plan is cover it. I'll probably cover it in black tissue because I do have that, and then I'll make my own decals on the water slide material. And before I put the decals on, decide whether I need to paint it or not once I've covered it in the dope. So that's the plan there. Electrics wise, these are the electrics that I took out of an E-flite Yak 54. This will be the motor of BL180. So that will power it quite nice. It's enough power in there to move the SE5. I've then got the servos. Not sure if I'm going to use the linear servos in the wings yet. I do have some micro servos. They look like standard servos, but obviously smaller. We'll see. I need to play around with that. And whichever I use, I'm going to have to extend these wires because they won't be long enough to go from the top wing down into the fuselage to connect up with this receiver board here. And then battery wise, I'm going to be using two S's. We've got the two different types, the E-flite, which is the standard one that goes in the Yak, or then these ones which you can buy on our popular eBay site. They both should fit neatly in the fuselage. I just haven't worked out yet where I'm going to put them, but I'll show you on the plan where I think they might go. So those are the batteries. It'll be one or the other, or hopefully I can use both. We'll see. Okay, so looking at the plan, obviously this is the profile of the model to actual scale, and you can see that by the wheel here. This is the BL180 motor, which will fit neatly inside the cowl. I just need to decide how I'm actually going to secure this piece on. I've got a few ideas. We'll get to that when we do the video. Obviously the receiver unit will probably go about here. I'm trying to halve things down the central line of gravity. I'll show a little picture where I think things will go. And then the batteries, you can see the battery height fits nicely in there. I'm not going to be able to drop it in from the top because one of the biggest issues I had with SE5A was the wing was in the way, so a hatch didn't work there. Having a hatch underneath is all well and good, but it means you have to turn the model upside down, and also the gear will probably get in the way. So what I'm thinking of doing is somehow working out a hatch that will go in through the side there. Whether the battery goes on its end, whether the battery goes upright, I don't know yet. But hopefully that will then work for both types of battery because I have quite a few of these. So we shall see. The good thing with this model, when it comes to the rudder, it's just one piece, so I don't need to split anything. We turn the page over, spin it round. There you go, you can see the rudder's one piece, so that will just connect to the fuselage here. The tail surface or the stabilizer, I will build it as is to start with, but then I'll separate so that I've got the elevators so that they're working. I mentioned briefly earlier that this is the aileron piece, so I don't need to build up an aileron. The wing will slope, yes it'll be a bit flat, but there's no point making life too difficult. Also keeps the weight down on that. Again, the picture will show exactly where it is, and then all three wings. Now it does suggest here that you can adjust the dihedral of the wing to give it more stability. Because I'm going to use ailerons, I'm probably just going to keep the wings flat, more like the real airplanes you can see up here. It was flat, there was no dihedral in there. The key thing will be making sure the incidence, so the angle of attack of the wings once it's on the model is correct to give it that nice balance. And obviously at the moment it's difficult to work out how I'll do the hatch when I'm looking at this piece. But as I said, it'll probably be in this section here. Again, that'll be on the photo that I've shown. So yeah, I think that should all be good. So what I'm just going to do to round off this video is I'll just make the tail and the elevator stabilizer section and see how that goes. Okay, so we have the frames built for the rudder and the frame built for the stabilizer and elevators. I haven't glued this bit on because what I'm going to do is cut there and then create the piece across, or because that's going to be easier to do, it'd just be a straight elevator piece. Or if I was to do it like the actual aeroplane, what I probably need to do is cut a piece and actually just cut down there and there. In fact, I'm going to do that. Let's be brave. So I'm going to cut here and here, then build up the elevators, and then I'll just create the box for the remaining stabilizer. So we'll do that next. Right, so rudder's finished, rounded the edges, inserted the extra bit of balsa where the control horn will go. That's good to go. The tail section, you notice when I did the build from the photos, I did in a cross brace, created the extra pieces so that I can enable the elevators to rotate separately. I did go for the actual shape of the real elevators. I did in a couple of fillets to increase the support and strength. You can see from here that it all works nicely. Obviously I haven't glued it together yet because I shall cover it first, but I just wanted to make sure it rotated smoothly. Gaps at the end are a little bit bigger than I'd like, but that'll do. Remove the centre bit of wood so that the metal gives it a nice rotation point. I may, when I put the rudder on, need to do a little cutout. We'll see once we get to it. But there we go. Those are the tail sections of the DR1 completed, structurally anyway. So now I will look at building the wings in the next video. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.